past year has been a challenge for families everywhere. Kids need their parents now more than ever. Hi, I'm Jade Elliot, and we at KUTV are proud to join with Utah's premier parenting organization, Uplift Families, to present their 10th annual event, Parenting Tips, featuring messages by Jeanette Herbert, Dr. Paul Jenkins, Yahosh Bonner, Chris and Amanda Provost, Jennie Taylor, and music by the Bonner family. Over the next hour, we'll learn ways to strengthen our families, better communicate with our kids, and keep them safe in today's challenging world. And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you the founder of Uplift Families, former First Lady of Utah, Jeanette Herbert. Mrs. Herbert is the mother of 6, grandmother of 17, and wife of 50 years to Gary R. Herbert, Utah's 17th governor.
Welcome to the 10th annual Uplift Families event, Parenting Tips. TIPS is an acronym for Teaching Important Parenting Skills. This evening, we will hear from some amazing speakers with valuable parenting tips that will help both parents and caregivers to navigate through the challenges that our kids are facing in today's world. Uplift Families is a nonprofit foundation that was created as my initiative as First Lady of Utah. For the past decade, Uplift Families has strengthened families by connecting parents with programs, resources, and information that help parents acquire the skills necessary to raise loving, responsible children. We've provided vital information to parents and families through web-based resources, social media, educational materials, and by hosting live and televised events. Our website, upliftfamilies.org, showcases parenting tips, videos, and articles, plus additional information that strengthens families. The highlight of upliftfamilies.org is the state-of-the-art Parent Resource Center that has featured over 1,000 vetted links to trusted family information sources. Finding answers to your parenting questions is right at your fingertips. The need for parents today to be extra vigilant cannot be overstated. Kids need their parents now more than ever. The healthy involvement of parents in their children's day-to-day lives will help ensure that their kids can perform better socially and academically. And did you know that teens who are monitored by their parents as teenagers are 50% less likely to smoke, drink, and use drugs? In fact, the #1 reason that kids don't get involved with drugs and alcohol is having a close relationship to their parents. Parents play an invaluable role in the lives of their children. Parents are a child's best teacher. Some of the most valuable life lessons are taught in the home. Moral values such as kindness, good manners, and respect for authority are lessons learned best from parents in the home. Children tend to model behavior after their parents. Children learn by their example, and kids are always watching, so parents need to be extra aware of what they're saying and doing in front of their children. With all the negativity and hate in the world today, parents need to make sure that their words and actions towards others are positive and uplifting, not negative and critical. Children need to learn the right way to behave in their interactions with those around them. They need to learn how to be charitable and helpful to others. Again, a parent's own actions will be the best way to teach their children these important life skills. It is a child's good upbringing that will help them succeed in the future. The special bond between a parent and a child is one of the strongest and most genuine bonds anyone can have in their lifetimes. Our hope is that you will use these parenting tips that you learn tonight to continually nurture the relationship that you have with your children. Thank you for joining us here tonight, and we hope you enjoy our program, Parenting Tips.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Herbert. And now a musical message from a talented and inspirational family of recording artists and YouTube stars, Utah's own, the Bonner family.
Hey, listen, brother, do you got soul? Why don't you sing it like you got something to show?
Just a little music, just a little groove to let you know, no.
Now look here, mama, do you got soul? Why don't you move it like you got somewhere to go?
Just a little rhythm, just a little blues, and take it low, low, low.
Let's go.
Before there was fireworks, there was a spark.
Recipients of the CVX Live Next Big Creator Award, Chris and Amanda Provost have entertained and inspired millions on their YouTube channel, Provost Park Pass. Chris has worked in television and film and is MC to FanX, Utah's largest convention. And Amanda loves being a mom and produces the Provost Park Pass podcast, recently ranking #1 in Canada and #7 for travel in the US.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Amanda.
And we are the hosts of YouTube's channel, Provost Park Pass. And we are honored to be part of Uplift Families.
Today we are bringing you the 3 P's of parenting.
I see what you did there. 3 P's of parenting. Provost Park Pass, PPP. What's the first P?
The first P is perspective.
Amanda taught me this really cool trick with our son. It's called the 10-year perspective. Now, if our son spills milk, will we remember that spilled milk in 10 years? No, but he will remember the way that I responded to that situation. You need to have the 10-year perspective.
Exactly. How you act in situations, react. Use those situations as a learning experience. Give your children tools. All of those things are going to matter 10 years and beyond.
That is the first P of parenting.
Perspective.
Parenting Tips, presented by Uplift Families, KUTV Channel 2, WCF Insurance, Dominion Energy, and Larry H. Miller Group of Companies.
Hun, who's this guy in the kitchen?
Oh, sorry, I thought having a ref in the house would help us enforce the boundaries that we set with the kids.
3 minutes for throwing crayons. 5 minutes. Grounding. 1 week. All right. Excessive celebration.
We got voted like
touchdown.
Jay Leno.
These French guys are smooth, aren't they? I do declare, Mr. Henry.
And Kevin Eubanks.
But I'll tell you what, Kev's gonna give you $100, right, Kev?
Bring their own twist.
Get out of here, really? No, you get out of here!
To a TV classic.
Let's play You Bet Your Life!
If I come home broke, my wife gonna kill me.
It's all fun and games.
You Bet Your Life, coming to KJazz, September 13th.
My parents didn't want me to drink when I was your age either, because my brain was still growing.
Whoa. And so was your mullet.
Create amazing memories with your kids in the Uplift Families Quest. To play, visit upliftfamilies.org and start your adventure. And you might be a lucky winner of a weekend getaway at the famous Zermatt Resort and Spa.
When I have a hard time, my parents help me and comfort me.
When I'm feeling sad, my mom gives me a big hug and listens to what I'm saying, and it makes me feel better.
My parents will sit me down and talk to me, or sometimes they'll make a joke out of it, and that always makes me feel better.
My parents are there for me when I'm having hard times.
Dr. Paul Jenkins is a writer, a speaker, a counselor, and a parenting expert. He helps his clients, readers, and audiences get an iron grip on powerful psychological principles that make an immediate difference in their lives. With 2 decades of experience as a professional psychologist, Dr. Paul has helped thousands establish and maintain habitual patterns of positive perception and focus.
In a recent survey done in connection with tonight's event, the vast majority of parents who responded reported feeling concerned about their children's mental health. Now, I'm a psychologist, and as such, I can tell you that anxiety in one form or another is the #1 mental health issue facing our children today. Even when it's not clinically diagnosable anxiety, This issue contributes to other complications, including depression, social isolation, substance abuse, and relationship problems. Anxiety in its many forms has our kids doing things that make the problem worse and avoiding things that could possibly make it better. Unfortunately, our own anxiety as parents does the same thing, and sometimes we actually contribute to the problem rather than the solution. There are two primary components to anxiety and fear. There's a brain component and a mind component. Now, I make a distinction between the brain and the mind. Your brain isn't your mind any more than your little finger is your mind. It's part of your body. It's an organ in your head. The mind is you, the agent inside of the machine, the thinker, the observer, the chooser. So let's start with the brain. Put your finger right here at the back of your neck. Okay, now move it upward until you hit that bony place. If you were to move forward about 2 inches from there, you'd run right into your limbic system. This part of your brain has a special job, survival, in keeping you safe. The limbic system is constantly on the lookout for threat, and when it detects one, it kicks you into the fight or flight response. You know that feeling of nervousness you get when you're in line for the roller coaster? Limbic system. Or that pit in your stomach when you anticipate bad news. Limbic system. Or that urge you have to scream and yell at your child. Limbic system. The problem is perceived danger. The answer is safety. Imagine being scooped up in the arms of a gentle giant with a big fuzzy blanket. You're safe here. I've got you. This calms the limbic system response. The safety message for the brain is, I've got you. Here's a little brain hack you can try, and teach this to your kids too. When we're feeling a little wobbly, just smell the flowers and blow out the candles. Try this with me right now. Smell the flowers and blow out the candles. How did that feel? See, that feeling of safety calms the brain. The limbic system gets to chillax a little. Now, what about the mind? Dr. Susan Jeffers, in her book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, made a brilliant observation that at the root of every fear is one common belief: I can't handle it. This sometimes subconscious belief triggers the protective fight or flight response of our own brain. Our brain is doing its job. Come with me back a decade or more to a Saturday morning in September. My daughter Lindy is 10 at the time. She's my early morning adventure buddy. We head out for her first experience at the climbing gym. Now, the first item of business is that we have to harness up. This is the part where we learn that if it's not comfortable, it's not tight enough. Does that sound like a life lesson to you? Well, before we get to climb, we get some coaching from Riley. He's got this Olympic swimmer's body. He's half my age and twice Lindy's. There's some code words we need to learn first. Then Riley ties me in to belay. Lindy approaches the wall. We practice the code. Lindy asks, on belay? My response, belay on. She grabs the wall and says, climbing. I confirm, climb on. Translation, you got me? Yeah, I've got you. Here I go. You've got this. The first few holds are easy enough. Then she looks back with an uncertain face. She's high enough now on the wall to feel it. I don't know if I can go any higher, she says with obvious fear in her voice. Lindy, you've got this. I've got you. My voice reassures her, and she continues on. A little higher up, her legs and arms are burning. She glances over her shoulder. Have you got me? I've got you, kiddo. You've got this. Triumph as she rings the bell at the top. More powerful than any medication or therapy offered in my industry is a shift in belief from I can't handle it to I've got this. That's the answer to the mind. You've got this. Sometimes through our own fear and insecurity, we want to reassure our kids that nothing bad is going to happen. We don't know this. So in essence, we're lying to our kids. What they really need to hear and feel from us is you've got this, and I've got you. Our strategy to combat anxiety as parents is to send that message as often and confidently as possible. You've got this, and I've got you. We need this as parents too. When we look back and we're unsure if we can keep going, we need to hear it, that we've got this, and somebody has our back. Look, you're a good parent. The fact that you're watching this program tells me that you're conscious and engaged. You're looking for ways to show up more powerfully for your kids. You've got this. And we've got you. We live in an age where we don't have to do this alone. The resources available through Uplift Families and its many contributors are your belay. We're here when you need us most. We've got you. And then when our kids have broken up, when they've broken a bone or when they've broken the law, what's the message? You've got this. And I've got you. When we have those conversations about coming home, or when the conversations are about coming out, what's the message? You've got this. And I've got you. When our kids are preparing for final exams or preparing for final breaths, what's the message? You've got this, and I've got you.
Parents build resilient kids when they teach them to be giving and serve others.
When I'm at school and friends aren't cool or kind, if they make fun or tease someone I find, I remember what my mama told me. She said,
Child, if you could only see, you gotta do something good for someone else each day. You gotta try and find something good to say.
when you help someone, they smile wide, and you feel something good inside.
Well, you know you should try and do something good.
You gotta do something good for someone.
before you have kids, you seem to have mountains and valleys worth of patience. And then once kids come along, it changes things. It really tests your patience. One thing that I keep in mind while parenting and trying to have a little bit more patience is to have empathy for these kids. Having patience with your children will help you and them go far.
If you'd like to support Uplift Families, go to upliftfamilies.org/donate.
The Larry H. Miller Group of Companies is a lot of things. It's a group that celebrates hard work. It's a group committed to creating valuable experiences for customers. Everything we do is in service to our goal of enriching lives. That means our customers drive home happy. That means our employees are proud of what they do each day. That means we extend a helping hand to those in need. And that's what makes it all work.
This show will be different than any other show. It's just about being entertaining and making people laugh. I'll talk to celebrities, and then I'll talk to real people. I'll talk to anything. I'll talk to a plant. It's very exciting.
Ellen's farewell season starts September 13th.
Watch Ellen weekdays at 3 on KUTV2.
Are you looking for ways to keep your kids safe and healthy in today's challenging world? Well, you can find answers at upliftfamilies.org. Enjoy parenting tips, videos, articles, and other information that strengthens families. The highlight of upliftfamilies.org is the state-of-the-art Parent Resource Center that features over 1,000 vetted links to trusted family information sources. Simply search by keyword, age, or topic. Uplift Families, here when you need us most. For more information, go to upliftfamilies.org.
My parents make me happy when they smile.
I love that my grandparents always try to check in with me every day.
I like doing flips with Daddy.
My dad comforts me and he gets me.
I love it when my grandparents come to my performances. What I love about my parents is that even though they're divorced, they still try and work together to help us have a better future.
Jennie Taylor is the wife and Gold Star widow of Utah Army National Guard Major Brent Taylor, who was killed in Afghanistan while on a leave of absence as mayor of North Ogden City. They are the parents of 7 children. Jennie is the founder and director of the Major Brent Taylor Foundation, a founding member of Follow the Flag North Ogden, and an active volunteer in her children's public schools. A former secondary educator, Jennie serves as the civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army for the state of Utah.
My husband once delivered a brilliant but brief speech on how to live happily ever after. He was only 17 years old and speaking to the graduating class of his high school in Chandler, Arizona. That night, he delivered what he called the Brent Taylor 5-point system for happiness and health, or the BT5 for short. He said, don't do anything stupid. Work hard. Be a good friend. Believe in something and stick with it to the end. Not a bad talk, right? And not only did he talk that talk as a young man, but he really lived those principles throughout his life, including up until the day he was killed in action in Afghanistan in November of 2018. Now you can imagine that as his surviving widow and the mother of our 7 young children, I've thought a lot about that BT5 speech, those principles that promise to bring us happiness and health, ways to apply that to my parenting in the situation that looks nothing like what I thought my parenthood would look like in the years to come. So for now, we're going to set aside the brilliance of the BT5 for another day, and I'm going to share with you what I affectionately call the JT5, Jennie Taylor's 5-point system for simple sanity and survival. Number 1, life is a labor of love. This really applies in parenting. Parenting takes work, it takes effort, it takes exertion and exhaustion. And if you were to ask any of us why we do that, well, of course we would answer because we love our children. We know that love is the why of our labor. But have you ever considered that love might also be the how? of your labor in parenting? Not just why you parent the way you do, but how you parent? When you feel exhausted in the labor of parenthood, focus on the love. Not just making sure your kids know you love them, but that they feel the love you have for them. Because in parenting, life is a labor of love. Number 2, fear feeds failure. Admit it. You've been afraid for your children before. You've been afraid of what they might do or face or how they might fail or the terrible, awful things in this world. Maybe you've been paralyzed in your parenting by that fear. Maybe you've been so afraid of what they might do or where they might fall that you're guilty of treating them as if they've already failed. We cannot afford to let the fear of failure dictate our parenting principles. We also can't afford to be dictated in our parenting principles by fear of our children, not just the fear for our children. Because admit that too, you've probably been afraid of your child a time or two, afraid of how they'll react, afraid of what they'll say when you let them know something that you expect. And perhaps that fear of your child has made you falter in following through on important parenting principles. Parents, stick with it. We can't be dictated in our parenting by fear for our children or by fear of our children, because fear feeds failure. Number 3, grit, grace, and gratitude. Grit with grace. We say it all the time, right? Like we're all supposed to walk around looking beautiful and flexing our muscles. Let's be honest. That's not what grit with grace is all about. We know life takes grit, particularly in parenting. But have you ever thought of grit coming through grace? Maybe next time you run out of grit in the daily grind with your children, you could fall back on just a little more grace. Grace for your children. Grace for yourself. Grace for your kids' coaches and teachers and everyone else who really is just trying the best they can, even though we all fall short of parenting perfection. So when you run out of grit, call upon grace. And when times get really rough and you don't have any grit or grace, might I invite you to focus on gratitude. There is an inexplicable magic power to be found in focusing on being grateful and on expressing that thanks, especially to your kids. Grit comes through grace and gratitude. Number 4, don't take it personal. And please don't make it personal. You know what I mean. It's in our DNA as parents to take everything our kids do personally, as if every mistake they make or dumb thing they do or mean thing they say is 100% on us or intended to hurt us or prove that we've just failed them. Don't take everything personal. Let's face it. Sometimes kids are just kids. Sometimes they do dumb things. Sometimes they have a hard day and might say something mean or hurtful in that day. But we don't have to take it all personal. And we can be careful in our reactions so that we don't make it all personal. Number 5, the quest for questions. I don't know why that we as parents think we're supposed to have all the answers, and why in the world we pretend we want our children to think we know all the answers when they know that's far from the truth. What if instead of focusing on having all the answers, we looked at life and parenthood and family relationships as a quest for knowing how to ask more and better questions, sincere questions, thought-provoking questions, conversation-starting questions? What if instead of just laying down the law with our kids, we were to ask them what they think? Ask them how they feel. Ask them what they might suggest the family rule or requirement or procedure should be. And what if we as parents were to create an environment where our children felt safe and comfortable asking us questions, so that we and our children can take this quest together, knowing that some questions don't have answers. Some answers don't come easy. And sometimes it's better to just keep looking and asking those better, deeper questions. So stop worrying about having to have all the answers and know everything, and remember the shared quest for better questions. So there you have it, the JT5, my 5-point system for simple sanity and survival. Parents, I promise you, as you apply this, no matter how imperfectly, you will find yourself finding that simple survival, being able to hang on to your sanity when it hangs by a thread. And then it will take to the next step, and you'll be able to not only barely survive, but you'll find that your family can thrive, that you're in this together with your spouse, with your children, this family unit you've got. That no matter how different your circumstances look now from the ones you thought they would look like 10 or 20 or 50 years ago, you truly can look for what Brent, my husband, when he was only 17 years old, called happiness and health. We know that we can apply that on this family quest to live happily ever after, regardless of the circumstances around us.
Parents build resilient kids when they teach them to be helpful and work together.
You can do some things better than I can do some things better than you. We can all learn by working together. Think of the many things we can do. Work, working together. Play, play our part. Helping each other, getting things done. Sometimes two heads are better than one. Two heads are better than one. You can learn some things quicker than I can learn some things quicker than you. We can all learn by working together. Think of the many things we can do. Work, working together. Play our part. Helping each other, getting things done. Sometimes two heads are better than one. Two heads are better than one. We're working together. Getting things done. Helping each other. And it's so much fun. We're working together. Getting things done. Helping each other. And it's so much fun. Working together. Playing our part. Helping each other. Getting things done. Sometimes two heads are better than one. Two heads are better than one. Working together. Playing our part. Helping each other. Getting things done. Sometimes two heads are better than one. Two heads are better than one.
Chris here, and now I am down in southern Utah because this is America's playgrounds where everyone loves to come down and play. The third P of parenting is play. Play. Did you know that children learn by playing and doing? That's right. And as this day and age, a lot of times children, they develop anxiety or they get nervousness. You can ease that by spending quality time with your children. I'm not talking about like movies or just watching TV. I'm talking about interacting and playing games with them. Playing board games, going outside, letting them ride bicycles, going for walks. It doesn't have to be huge like Disneyland play. It could just be something little. Teach them the old games that you used to play when you were a child. One of my very favorite things to do with my son is we like to go out in the driveway and he likes to ride his bike around, and I reward him with a popsicle in this hot weather. It's so fun for him to do. Frisbee is also a really good one. Throwing the ball around, just spending some time with them and talking. And you'll notice the more that you do it, the more that your child will open up and tell you what's going on in their life. By interacting with your children, it helps them develop confidence, it helps them learn how to collaborate, and then when they become an adult, they're that much more prepared to enter the adult world. It is one of the most important things you can do with your child is spend quality time with them. It doesn't have to be big and huge, just a little bit of time every single day. New board game, old board games, running around, tag, spend some time with your child. That's the best thing you can do for them. The third P of parenting, play.
If you'd like to support Uplift Families, go to upliftfamilies.org/donate.
Why do we gather around the dinner table for life's important moments? It's the place where families come together, where stories are told and memories are made that last a lifetime. Dinner isn't just where food happens, it's where family happens. Research shows teens who regularly eat as a family are 33% less likely to use alcohol or illicit drugs. For more information, visit parentsempowered.org.
I call that one. And that's why we really don't want you to drink alcohol underage. Semicolon. Keep your brains a-rockin' and rollin'.
Got it, Dad.
Most excellent.
Create amazing memories with your kids in the Uplift Families Quest. To play, visit upliftfamilies.org and start your adventure. And you might be a lucky winner of a weekend getaway at the famous Vermont Resort and Spa.
Chillin', ice cream, chillin'.
This isn't the only split that's coming.
Ice cream, chillin', ice cream.
Here's the twist. The sequel may not happen. There's a baby on the way.
And it's a girl.
Oh, that's so sweet. What a softie.
Treat yourself. The new season of E.T. starts Monday, September 13th.
Parenting Tips, presented by Uplift Families, KUTV Channel 2, WCF Insurance, Dominion Energy, and Larry H. Miller Group of Companies.
Whenever my mom comes on a field trip with me, I'm excited but not excited because she always shows off to all of my friends by doing handstands.
I love it when my grandma does funny faces. I love it when my mom pretends that she's a shark.
Yahosh Bonner is the fifth of 8 children and comes from an accomplished musical heritage. He is a recording performing artist, a motivational speaker, actor, and co-host on BYU TV's Family Rules. He starred in the award-winning film Green Flake and was featured in the Utah Valley Business Q's 40 Under 40 edition. Yahosh runs his own YouTube channel and is the athletic director at American Heritage School. He and his wife Vanessa have 2 boys and 1 girl.
I want Jesus to walk with me. I want Jesus to walk with me all along my pilgrim journey. Oh, I want Jesus to walk with me. That is a song from my family history. It's called a Negro spiritual, also known as an African American spiritual. This is a song that my grandmother used to sing to my mom and that my mom sang to us. I'm so grateful to know the stories of my ancestors who were enslaved, that they were able to survive some of the worst things that mankind has done. And they drew strength from each other, and I draw strength from them and their story. As parents, we have an opportunity to share our stories with our children and to lift them up and to let them know that, guess what? They can overcome because we've overcome and those before us have overcome. These stories are so important. Speaking of stories in parenting, here's a story that I want to share with you. I love athletics. I love basketball. My dad used to coach me growing up. I played basketball in high school and in college, and I coached it in high school and in college. One particular game when I was coaching as a head coach in high school, we were playing the rival team. These are the games you want to win, right? And you expect your star players to perform. Well, one of my star players was not performing well. And it was so loud in the gym, he couldn't hear me. I was screaming at him, you got to box out, you got to rebound, play defense. And he was messing up. So, as a coach, it's my responsibility. He's got to get out of there. I got to get him out of there. So, he's coming off the court. He's walking, coming off the court, looking down. All of a sudden, he stops. And he looks up to the crowd. And I'm like, what is he doing? Who is he listening to? What's going on? And I look and I see his dad speaking and saying something. And he's saying, you're all right, Daniel. You're okay. You'll do better next time. It's okay, buddy. You're all right. And I thought, wow. He could pick out his father's voice in the midst of this huge crowd. Guys, parents, our children hear us. Through all the noise in the world, they hear you. They're listening. And we can be a voice of comfort. Or we can be a voice of distraction, of anger. This father was a voice of peace. Daniel came out the game, and I'll tell you what, he went back in and he did do better. What an opportunity right now that we have in the house with our children, and that the children have with their brothers and sisters, to nurture those relationships. These relationships matter so much, and it's such a short time in most of our lifetimes. We'll probably spend 70 to 80 years on this earth. And for the children in the household, they'll probably be there for 18 years. But that's when we nurture those relationships. That's when we let our light shine. It's so easy to be kind to strangers or to people that we barely know. But what about when we get home and we have the weight of the world on us? That's when we really should shine. We need to be the best for those that matter most to us. We need to be a light through their trials. In our trials, Lord, please walk with me. In our trials, Lord, walk with me. When my head is bowed in sorrow, oh, I want Jesus to walk with me. My mother is a vocal coach. She's a vocal coach. She taught us all how to sing. Some of us better than others, but we all love it, right? We have a singing group, and I call myself the 11th lead singer of the Bonner family. There's 11 singers in the family, so you can probably guess where I am. One day, we were in one of my mom's gospel concerts. Everywhere we've lived, she had a gospel choir. And this particular performance, the soloist didn't show up. Well, I'd been in the choir for several years. I'm 12 years old. I'm mature. I know the words. I said, Mom, I know the solo. Can I please sing it? Now, I gotta tell you a little backstory. Just a week earlier, I had tried out for my junior high talent show. And in junior high, everybody makes the talent show, right? Wrong. I didn't make it. And I come from a family of singers. I didn't make it. But something within me gave me a passion for music and to sing. And so I wasn't gonna give that up. So I asked my mom, I said, Mom, knowing that I wasn't the best singer in the family, wasn't the best singer in the choir, Mom, I need this. I didn't say I need this, but she knew what I needed. Can I sing this solo? And she says, you got it, babe. That's what I needed in that time. And I sung my butt off. At least that's the way they made me feel. I felt love. I felt heard. I felt seen. And that's one of the best gifts that we can give to our children, that they know that we love them unconditionally, beyond the mistakes, beyond the hardships. They love us. I love my children. And I love that I can share my story with them. Stories like this one. today, but I'll stay. I can't even explain why I'm afraid to change. And these moments go away. I need to take control again. It's my life, it's my time. And the dreams keep fading, slipping away. And I gotta live my life, it's my time again. And I just keep chasing with no regrets. Won't fade into the darkness. I'm keeping my lights up, lights up. My lights up, lights up. Lights up, lights up. Lights up, lights up. My lights up, lights up. Lights up, lights up. I don't want my life controlled by fears. No way. I gotta keep on pushing through my tears today. And these moments go away. I need to take control again. It's my life, it's my time. And the dreams keep fading, slipping away. And I gotta live my life, it's my time again. And I just keep chasing with no regrets. Won't fade into the darkness. I'm keeping my lights up, lights up. My lights up, lights up. Lights up, lights up. Lights up, lights up. My lights up, lights up. Lights up, lights up. Now it's up to me, it's how it's gotta be. It's my life and my choices. Black out all the voices. Now I finally see, I can set me free. It's my life and my choices. Black out all the voices. Oh yeah, slipping away. It's my time. Regrets. And the dreams keep fading, slipping away. And I gotta live my life, it's my time again. And I just keep chasing with no regrets. Won't fade into the darkness. I'm keeping my lights, I'm keeping my light. Lights up, lights up. Oh yeah. My lights up, lights up. Lights up, lights up.
September 11th, 2001. It was such a beautiful morning. Too beautiful to be ruined by what happened next. We received a series of calls that morning, first telling us that a plane had gone into the World Trade Center in New York City and that maybe a bomb had gone off at the Pentagon. Later, a call came telling us that on the first plane that had gone into the World Trade Center were our mother, Mary Alice Wallstrom, and our sister, Carolyn Ann Bugh. It was heart-wrenching. It was difficult. It was hard to even believe. But from that experience, we knew we had to move on. We knew that we had to get the courage and the strength and the resilience to make something out of our lives beyond what had happened that day. I spent some time working with a group of young people aged 14 to 18 on a wonderful memorial in Kaysville that would remember those who died on September 11th. As I worked with these young people, I saw them work tirelessly to build what they thought would be something that they could bring their children to in the future. I watched these youth build their own legacy of their own lives and their own memorials of their lives. Uplift Families is a very special organization to me, and we are constantly trying to help families build their own legacies to build a future. We hope that with Uplift Families and with the remembrance of events like September 11th, you will be able to build your own legacy.
For more than a decade, Uplift Families has become a trusted provider of vetted resources, giving parents tools to keep their kids safe in these challenging times. The Parent Resource Center on upliftfamilies.org is a place where parents can continually find answers to many of their parenting questions. Whatever challenges the future brings, Uplift Families will be ready to answer the call by continuing to provide timely resources and information for parents and families. Uplift Families, here when you need us most. Thank you so much for joining us for Parenting Tips.
Hey, listen, brother, do you got soul? Why don't you sing it like you got something to show?
Just a little music, just a little groove to let you know, no. Now look here, mama, do you got soul? Why don't you move it like you got somewhere to go?